Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of our brand new Minecraft mod pack created by the All the Mods team. This is going to be All the Mods Gravitas. Which really has a nice ring to it. This new mod pack is going to be very RL Craft-like, except for the fact that we don't have giant lava monsters, sea serpents, and dragons constantly trying to destroy us and make us restart our game and basically hate everything in the world. No, instead, this is going to be more focused on the early game survival aspect of the world. So what we're going to be doing is trying to get ourselves going in a very Stone Age type manner. That was bad. But you'll notice that a lot of things are different here as we progress through this pack, and I may need to tweak our sound audio here. Of course, when I play solo dolo, I can have the volume be whatever I want, and it doesn't really affect anything. However, whenever we're playing on stream here, you gotta make sure that it's not too loud and rambunctious. So, if you're over on Twitch side and things sound a bit off, just let me know, and we'll get that sorted out. So first and foremost, I want to get out of this this little pit here, and we'll notice one thing that's really different right off the bat here is all the dirt is from Terra Firma Craft, and you'll notice that it applies the laws of gravity. So most blocks actually, including the cobblestone that we'll be creating later on, actually follows the rules of gravity. So creating your base in this brand new world that we have here is going to be difficult as well. We have loose schist, I think that's how you say that, and we can use this to make some cobble and a lot of other things, but I think we'd better just grab some materials here to start out with. Now, I want to grab all this loose schist, all these loose rocks basically that we see here on the surface, and they'll be different based on the biome that you spawn in. Sometimes they look more akin to closer, like cobble, basic type things, the little stone rocks. Due to this biome, we got these little green rocks. It's no big deal. We can still use them for what we need. And we're just going to get a couple here, and then we're going to find some sticks. So if you've ever played RL Craft, you know how the beginning progression goes. You got to find a lot of little tiny items that spawn on the floor of the world. And I guess, yeah, there's not going to be really a whole lot of chances for sticks if we're not near a tree, right? That kind of makes sense. Now, the world here is very, very overgrown, but I kind of like it. And this mod pack does come already equipped with some shaders, so if you're someone that enjoys the more immersive, I would say, style of gameplay with Minecraft, then you should really enjoy this pack. Or if you're someone that enjoys early progression in Minecraft and seeing that whole thing being reworked, then again, this is right up your alley, because this pack goes all the way down to reshaping the way you create crafting tables, the way you build your tools. And once I have a couple more sticks here, there we go. We're going to go ahead and get into how you can progress through this pack, so that way you're not just following me along, how you can learn yourself. That way it's not just see as I see, do as I do kind of thing. So when we press E, we're going to have a whole lot of additional menus in the crafting area, right? So we have this first one, which is our calendar. Tells us what day it is, what season it is, what time it is, and the actual date as far as Minecraft goes. So we're starting out June 1st in the year 1000. Sounds very caveman-like. It's early summer, it's a Saturday, and it's about midday, right? The next tab is going to be our nutrition. As these bars go down, so too will our health. Right now we have 850 health points, right, HP. As our nutrients deplenish, so too will our health. Obviously, this is going to be a difficult thing to keep track of because we need grain, fruit, vegetables, protein, and dairy. Obviously, in the mid to late game, we should be able to have some of these stats constantly up, but it's going to be difficult sort of making sure that we get all of them equally so, because of course you can only eat so much at a time. Moving us right on down, we have the climate. Climate's temperate, region mid, altitude, continental. This is really important when it comes to growing your plants, as plants abide to seasonal changes. They apply to soil contents such as phosphorus in the ground and all kinds of other stats that you'll need to keep track of. Not to make it sound overcomplicated, it's really not that much. It's still plant the seed in the ground and watch it grow kind of thing, but you have additional factors that can allow you to grow it faster or better. Finally, we have the best page of your little menu here, and that is this little book. So once you click on it, it's going to open the Terra Firma Craft, I guess, guidebook, for lack of better words. And then we have several options here. Now, I do recommend taking your time and familiarizing yourself with the book if you don't know how these sort of quest books work here. They're not really quest books, more so guidebooks. If you're looking for something, find another book, click on it, and it'll usually have contents that will tell you more about it, right? So go through, read each of these if you feel the need to. If not, then just discover it as you play. I do a bit of both, and so we have read most of this getting started chapter and a little bit of the advanced mechanics here, so I know a little bit of how we're going to be getting started into this mod pack and where we should be going with it. That being said, you're going to want to start off here in the introduction. In Terra Firma Craft, the first things you can obtain are sticks, twigs, and loose rocks. That's basically what I just said. So you're going to go gather them up, and then we're going to get into something called napping. So we can nap with rocks, clay, and later on there's another version of clay that we can nap with as well. Tamleen, welcome, welcome. And all of the new follows in between last stream and this stream, I do appreciate, and thank you as a whole and each individual. So basically what rock napping is drawing what we want to create, right? So in order to nap, we'll just need to right click with rocks in our hand, and I'll show you that little interaction here in just a second. But then basically we're going to get a little box that we can draw in, and we'll be drawing the shape of what we want. So here's a stone knife head, and you'll get familiarized with these as you play. Here's an axe head, right? Kind of looks like an axe. Shovel, hoe, hammer, and finally a javelin. Now you'll notice we actually don't have a pickaxe here, and that's because for the large majority, you're not really meant to be mining stone too early in the game here. You're actually meant to get copper before you really ever get your first pickaxe, and we'll explain, how that goes as we go. Now the first important tool we need is going to be a knife and an axe. So let's go ahead and create these two things here. And again, we have these tiny pebbles in our hand. They may be green, they may be white, they may be yellow. You're going to have different types of stones just based off where you spawned and the material sort of underneath the ground. Just keep that in mind, but they'll all look kind of the same, and they'll all say loose, blank, right? So right click, and we get this little menu. What you can do is left click, and you'll start knocking out blocks. Be careful, because you can't right click to bring that back. Once you've knocked out a block, it's gone for good. And when you're napping with rocks, whether you create something or you just back out of this, you will still use a rock. So make sure you know what you're creating before you go in here. And it may sound a little daunting, but I'll show you another thing you can do here, and that's over here in JEI. You can type in head, right? And you'll notice that we have the stone heads over here. So if you simply click A on it, it will show you how you can create this. And apparently you can create 2 stone knife heads in one napping if you have the design there. So that's pretty cool. We just did the single one here, but similarly, if you click on the stone axe head, it'll show you how to outline it. You can also press A on this and it'll save it over to the left. So while you're in the rock napping menu, you can click over here, see it, do it, see it, do it. So it's not like you have to have a photographic memory or any of that kind of crazy stuff. Let's go ahead and get our stone axe head out. And it is already becoming nighttime here. We don't have to worry too much about that, and I'll explain as the night grows. But basically all you'll need then is to combine a stick with your tool head, and voila, we have our first tools. So each of these in the book is explained with what it does, right? So a knife blade crafted from several different rock types. All stone tool heads can be crafted with a stick or twig. The stone knife can be used to harvest straw by breaking plants. So we click on some of this grass here, we'll see that we get a piece of straw. Straw can be used for a whole lot of stuff, but primarily we're going to be using it for starting fires. which is great because I'm a bit of a pyromaniac myself. So any pack where it's like, hey, you got to start a whole lot of fires, I'm like, oh no, don't make me. So we're gonna get a little bit of this stuff here. Excuse me, excuse me. Then we're gonna take our stone axe, and what you're gonna want to do is chop down the bottom log of any tree. Now it doesn't have the mechanic that RLcraft does, where the tree falls on you, thank goodness. But you're not going to get standard logs, you'll notice. Well, they kind of are, and they kind of aren't standard logs. You can still place them in the world, just like before, right? And they'll stay there. However, they interact a little bit differently in the fact... Oh, shucks. By the way, in case you're wondering, logs are one of the only blocks that can float within the world, so that's kind of nice to know. But they're not classic logs in the sense that you can just put them into your crafting table and you'll have something. These are going to be used more so for in-world crafting, and again, we'll get into that in just a bit here because we're going to need it, given, well, everything's very, very dark, right? So I think this is a good time for us to create our first source of fire, and we're going to need, well, actually, no, we have sticks. In case you're like, man, I don't have any sticks, sometimes check out these little bacon-like type things. It's actually a stick. It's called a twig. A little bacon twig there. So here we just created ourselves a fire starter, and again, that's just 2 sticks diagonally. Either which way works. And what you're going to do with this is shift and right-click, and it will hold them together and start creating smoke until it creates fire. We're going to hold off on this for just a second because I want to actually dive back into our book to look at the pits of fire. Fire is an important technological advancement. In order to create fire, you're going to have the fire starter. I'm basically going to show you how all this works. So what we're going to be creating is this fire pit. Think of this as your early game, really crappy furnace. In order to create a fire pit, we're going to need 1 log, which we already have, 3 sticks, which we'll need, additional, and optionally up to 3 pieces of kindling. I always do the kindling because it's so easy to get. Straw is everywhere. There's no real reason not to. And then what we'll get is a little GUI interactable thing, which we'll go over here in just a second. So we have 2 sticks now. And if we wanted to, actually, we could go ahead and make ourselves a hoe. And what this will allow us to do is to get more sticks as we break leaves here. So get this out, and we'll just smash these, and we'll see that we have a very, very high stick drop right now as compared to when we were using our hand. Oh, snap. Oh, no, it's white sand. Oh, thought it was clay. My mistake. I was really happy because that much exposed clay obviously would be really good for us. So we have our sticks now. We're going to need, it said, 1 log, 3 sticks, and 3 pieces of kindling if we so desire, which I do. I do indeed desire. And then we're going to... Honestly, starting your base somewhere near water is probably preferable to a large degree in this mod pack. So we're going to try to find some water before we set up base camp. And it looks like there's a whole lot over here to our right, or also known as east. Oh, no, it's not east. It's south, isn't it? Southeast. Mostly east. And what we're going to notice is there's no hostile mobs spawning in the night. That's right. You actually don't have to worry about, well, certain hostile mobs. The classic ones. Zombies, creepers, that kind of stuff. Instead, you'll be more so worried about wildlife. There are lions, panthers, I want to say. We can look into it. I believe it's over in here's the world. Yeah, wild animals. So there's predators and prey. Here are some of the predators: polar bear, bears in general, panther, cougar, lion, saber-tooth. And I'm not sure if the wolf will attack you on sight, but it labels it as a predator. So just be careful. But here we go, some nice, cool water. And the reason we're going to want water is because if you'll notice, our nutrition doesn't say it here, but right above our experience bar to the right of our health, we have 2 additional status bars, right? We have a blue one and a green one. The blue one is your H2O or water level. This can be added to simply by right-clicking any fresh source of water. So you can't go up to the ocean and just start drinking. It'll need to be a lake, a pond, something of that nature, right? But yeah, just right-clicking and you will gain back some of your water there. Food can sometimes be more difficult or sometimes be a whole lot easier, depending on what your surroundings are and, you know, how lucky you get with finding various food materials. There are things such as berry trees and berry bushes that you can pick, and they'll supply you with food for a very, very long time at a very cheap rate, honestly. We're just going to get our little base set up right here, and we're going to place a marker as well. Now, this is the Blaze map. You can open this menu by pressing B. This will show you all kinds of things such as topography, an aerial view, which is more of like a classic, you know, Minecraft view, top-down kind of thing, rainfall, which is, again, really important for finding and growing certain types of plants, temperature, again, same thing, and ecosystem. I haven't really cut out how this map works as far as if it's telling me there's predators here and prey there or vice versa. So we'll just, you know, keep that general about us. And then the geology will actually tell you where previous rocks are that you've already found. So if you found, say, marble on the other side of this lake, then a little menu thing like this will pop up and say marble. Now we also have JEI map in the, or is this, not JEI, what is this? Xero's mini map, or in, obviously, world map in the pack as well. I'm not sure if you're supposed to be able to access these, as the pack did literally just release. That being said, we can, and I'm going to continue to use it until they patch it out. So we're going to place a waypoint here, and we're going to call this Home Sweet Home, where all the pork is made. Is that Curly? Welcome, welcome. Now let's go ahead and create ourselves our first fire pit, and what better place to do that than right up against some rocks here. So again, 3 sticks, 1 log, and 3 straw. And all we're going to do with this is throw it on the ground and light it on fire. So we'll toss it out of our inventory here. Get to our fire starter. Again, shift, right click, hold it. You'll see smoke, and then fire. Now, this doesn't always happen. This is an in-world crafting recipe, so that is why that happened. If you want us to create fire, generally, just don't put those items down, and then voila. I'm going to put that out because obviously we don't want to burn down the village side here. Now, if you right-click on the fire pit, you'll get this little GUI menu. The temperature is raising. This is the temperature of the fire. You can increase it, obviously, by placing logs in. They will burn up and give you the temperature that it describes here. Burns at dark red for 1 minute and 45 seconds. So it'll at least be somewhere in here for 1 minute and 45 seconds with this log on. Now we can create torches by simply putting sticks in, and unfortunately this GUI only allows 1 item in the top, so you'll notice I can't click in all 3 sticks. And what that does is gives us some torches. Now, much like in RLcraft, these torches will burn out over time, so you'll have to continuously come back and light them. However, that can be done simply by right-clicking on it with another torch. Also, it gives you a little time left thing in the, you know, top there, so that's really good information. This is also going to be how you cook your food. So if we had, you know, an animal that we could serve up on a platform, it could go right here. But that's pretty much our first night survived here in Terra Firma Craft, in the big old world of Gravitas. Now, noticing that my food is draining and draining rather fast, I am going to want to find some source of nutrition rather quickly here. We do have tools, right? I can always smack a sheep with an axe, and you'll notice on your minimap the little yellow dots. Those are indeed mobs. We're gonna run over here to this little piggy, see if we can't get lucky. Like the pigs are pretty fast, so I might have to turn on my sprint here. Oh, it's getting faster as it's getting more injured. Oh my goodness, what is this? This hog can really haul it. Maybe I should have made a javelin. There we go. Alright. Now, I was a born hunter. Let anyone tell you otherwise. So, that gave us 2 pieces of raw pork. And you'll notice something when you hover over the food here, and I'll show you in just a minute. So, the food actually has an expiration date as well. So, this is expires on 5/5/9, July 5th, 1000. So basically, in 1 month and 3 days, our raw pork will no longer be good. It'll be spoiled if we try to eat it. I think it'll decrease our hunger or make us sick, something along those lines. So obviously, you don't want to be consuming rotten food. Oh, I was trying to... All right, well, let's try and cook this because obviously the temperature did stay there for a little bit here. Can I put in straw as... No, I can't. Cook, baby, cook. Can I put in saplings? No. There we go. Okay, so we cooked these 2 raw pork chops. We can now eat them. Same expiration, 1 month and 6 days. Let's go ahead and nom on these pork chops. And then if we come in here to our nutrition, we'll see that our protein has actually gone up. Our health, it's kind of at a battle right now because all of our other nutrients are going down, obviously, but we just raised protein to a nice little level there. So, we are at a good point. I do want to go ahead and create ourselves a spear. So... Oh, it's a javelin, right? Javelin. And let's see. Stone javelin head. So how do we make this? It's going to be 3 out of the top, 3 out of the... So it's just 3 on 3 sides, right? Yeah, not too shabby. We don't have any additional sticks. We do have that set as home. Another thing that you kind of want to be nearby your home, which obviously we don't really have here, is trees. Because you're going to want a whole lot of wood. For building fires and building other, various structures. This is a little strange. We're getting spruce trees spawning next to birch here, and it's apparently in the middle of the plains, so not sure about that. But it's okay. As long as it gives me sticks, I guess I'm perfectly fine. And a sapling every now and then doesn't hurt, right? I wonder if we can still grow the really, really tall trees. I've not tried it. But, we can experience together. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make ourselves another hoe here. I wonder if we can make 2 hoe heads, the same way that you can make 2 knife things. Let's see. Yeah, wow, that's really cool. Okay. I don't feel too bad about creating additional ones of these because I know we'll need them in the future, so it's fine, trust me. And this is meant to be a slower mod pack. You're not meant to be getting into thermal by day 2, so that being said, there is thermal in this pack. There's applied energistics, there's create, there's immersive engineering, so there are a lot of the elements that you would like to see when progressing and when going for automation in Minecraft. You just don't get them so quickly and so easily as in most packs. I don't think the main goal of this off the bat is to automate. The main goal is to survive, thrive, live in a world where, Minecraft logic may not be so typical. So standard, so par for course, right? We got to worry about gravity. And speaking of which, I'll need to show y'all that as well because I think it's a really cool mechanic. I'm not entirely sure how it's being done, and I don't really care. It's cool, and I like it. So, here, we're going to go ahead and show you what happens if you try to build up, because I made the mistake my first night of thinking, hey, there's going to be zombies and skeletons and creepers and spiders all trying to get me, and I really just need to not do that. Oh, shucks, I thought I had an empty hand. Okay, so when you try to place dirt, it works fine. However, if you try to build on that, you'll notice that gravity works not only just with making the blocks fall, if they don't have a supporting block underneath, but also if they don't make sense. If stacking 2 dirt high doesn't make sense, and in real life, if it would fall over like an anthill or a molehill, well, you kind of get the same results here. Same thing if you try to do it with cobblestone. So here we have some loose stone. If we turn this into cobble and try to put this on top, it too falls. Be careful, obviously, because this is going to hurt. And once you have this placed, you're going to need a pickaxe to break it, which, what did I just say earlier? We don't get access to pickaxes for quite some time here. So, all that being said, we might actually continue on adventuring. We may not make this our home, simply because, yeah, I want to see more trees wherever I do set up shop. Now, I've not tested this before. What happens if I break this? We get something. Wood ash. Oh, and this can be used for fertilizer. You'll see it has phosphorus and potassium, which we'll need that in order to grow plants. Give me my torch back here. And you'll also notice that when you hold a torch in hand, it gives off a little bit of a light. This can be used for, you know, caving, spelunking, all that good stuff. So we're good on food and water for now. We are going to need to find some more food relatively quickly. Obviously, the water is pretty easy to come by, at least for the time being. There are... Oh, so here we found zinc. We need to mark this somehow. I guess just with a standard little waypoint, right? Zinc. So this brings us into a good point, and that is the next goal and objective with the pack, which is to get tools and ores, right? That's how you progress in Minecraft, by finding ores and building stronger, better tools. So what you want to look out for is little small ore deposits on the surface, which honestly, I couldn't tell too much from a rock. I was just trying to mine a rock. But the ones that look like copper are a bit more obvious. They're orange, right? And they're very standoutish. But when you smack it, it'll drop this small ore deposit. And you can see it melts into 20 megabuckets, or millibuckets, sorry, not megabuckets, millibuckets of zinc at very hot, which is just telling you how hot the container has to be in order to smelt your zinc down. We'll be getting into exactly how all this works in just a moment here. Just know that it does total up the stack as well. So here we have 20. We separate it to 1. Now we have 10. You're going to need at least 10 individual pieces here to get your first tool. To get your first pickaxe, you will need 10 of these little deposits. So, I'm actually going to put... I'm going to dig a little hole around here. And you know what? This is a good time for us to make a shovel. So, shovel is going to be made just like this. Carve out both sides in a big L shape. And you got your first shovel head here. And, which I really like the design of the shovel. It's a lot more practical, right? Like, how are you getting that perfect curve on stone in Minecraft? We don't get perfect curves anywhere. I'm happy that they made this into a square. We're just going to dig this out a bit, so whenever I do come back for the zinc, I'm like, I also found some over there and some here. And we're going to look around a little bit more because we only have 6 pieces, and again, we want... dig that down, so I know, again, there's another piece right there. Want 10. 10 pieces of zinc, if at all possible. Now that we found this as well, I probably don't want to travel too far from this, if I can help it, really. Oh, there's another piece. And I'm digging down on each of these because later on we'll get something called a prospecting tool, which will basically allow us to semi-X-ray the ground for ores. Oh, there's another piece. So if I have these areas marked, then when I come back later, I can just smack it with the tool and see if there's anything down there. So we are up to 9. We need 1 more piece. 1 more teeny tiny piece of stone. I don't know / think that they can spawn in water. Perhaps. There's another system where you can get materials from water, and we'll be going over that, of course, in the future as well. Aha. 10. 10 pieces of zinc. There we go. So now let's keep on running here. And we're going to try to find a place with hopefully more trees very nearby. And we're also looking for specific trees. Because there are cherry trees, and cherry trees can provide you with a whole lot of... Oh, is that a bear? Or is that a buffalo? Bison? These things are kind of like cows. Oh, they are musk ox cow. Sure. Okay. Obviously, I have not read the description on these in my other world. Ooh. Chestnut leaves. That's really cool. So we're going to keep on over here. I like the fact that we have so much water nearby. It bodes well for us. It does bode well for us. And this terrain, I'm not going to lie, in this world's a lot more interesting than what I have in the startup world that I was, you know, kind of testing the pack out on. So I'm happy to see that. Alright, we're going to have to try and cross this ravine. Again, just blocking across won't work for us, so... If you were to come out here and be like, oh, we'll just build a bridge. Yeah, nope, doesn't work. Does not work. Okay. But I kind of like this. Again, it's forcing us to... Oh, and be careful when you update the land. Remember, gravity updates as well. So some things that are won't be when they get some updates. I hope that makes sense. We're running low on food and water again. This is not good. Not good. Again, water fairly easily replenishable for now. We can, of course, make bottles later. That will allow us to take a sip of water with us. So that'll be real useful in the future. However, water isn't really what I'm running low on here. I was really looking for something like a cherry tree to where I don't have to continuously seek out animals to slay and hunt and run after. It looks as though that might be what we have to do anyways. That's fine, because you know what? I did make a javelin, and this is a good time to show it off and show all its features. So a javelin does 3 attack damage. However, you can attack every 1, or it has an attack speed, rather, of 1.8, which is really, really fast. Oh, a deer. You can also right-click with it to throw it. Suppose when you're this good, you don't really need to. So this is a better example of wildlife. Here we got 10 pieces of raw venison. So like this is going to keep us pretty well fed for quite some time here. We are going to need to get some fire going if we want to cook this and get it rolling. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. We got our logs, and we're basically just going to do the same thing as before here. And that is toss 3 logs on the ground, 3 kindling on the ground, 3 sticks, and then we're going to set it on fire. So I like to kind of aim out with this stuff, because if not, then you'll just pick it back up. So I think we only needed 1 log there, right? Sorry, hold on. 1 log, 3 sticks, and 3 kindling. Not even us wasting a log there. I'm not sure if it would consume the log, but I don't really want to, like, find that out the hard way, you know? Right. And voila, my fire pit. Get some venison in here, because we are about to literally starve. Alright, we're going to throw in some spruce logs here to keep the fire rolling and rocking and all that good stuff. Let's get another bite of venison. I'm not sure if overworld mobs are not meant to be spawning, or if this is just a bug, or if they're going to, you know, change it to be this or that at night. Either which way, I'm okay with how it is currently. With how difficult it is to create a base, I'm okay with how it is currently. And we're actually going to be getting into some things that you can do to actually build here, now that we've got, I think what will be our setup here. I mean, the zinc's not too far away. We can make that trip, you know, and there might be some more ore deposits around here, but we have a whole lot of trees, a whole lot of water. This is good. This is everything that we really want from a starting location. And I really need to keep this food rolling, because now that we're at max food, you know, I want to go ahead and cook this stuff up. So we got more to take with us. Might as well while we got the fire burning. So while that's going, let's go ahead. I try to chop this tree with this axe. Yeah, it's going to break, so might as well just go ahead and break it anyways. Get some stone, toss in a piece of meat in there, and now we're going to make ourselves another axe. And just like that. Like I said, you'll get used to the recipes quickly enough, because you'll end up making plenty of these tools. So let's break this on down. Oh, and I should be using our hoe to gather leaves instead of just immediately breaking the log there, because this will give us saplings, it'll give us more sticks. Okay, there we go. Now that we have all the meat cooked, let's get some more torches rocking and rolling, because that's always obviously beneficial to us. Looking forward to the days of automation, not gonna lie. I feel like when we do get automation in this pack, it's gonna feel fantastic. So we're gonna do 3 cheers for automation. And you'll also notice my inventory's getting a little cluttered, you know, like, chance. Better watch it. So there's 2 things you can do about this. One, you can actually place items into the world. So if I press V, it'll set it on a block there. And we can do this with each individual item. Now you will see that you can't put a stack down. It places each individual one. So if you want to set things down, I recommend putting down your single-use items. And I'll show you how to make a chest, or a chest-like thing, here in just a second, because we actually can't get into a chest for quite some time here. Here we go. Nice little area. And then we are just going to sort of set some things down, all the things that we can, and they're not stacked. That way we have a bit more inventory room, so we're just going to press V. And wherever you're looking inside the block, that's where it places it. Right? Put this stuff down here. And of course, blocks you can just place into the world if you want. Right? So there we go. Inventory, much, much cleaner. We have torches, we have an axe, we have a javelin. Oh, shucks. There goes my fire. Actually wanted to get a few more sticks out of that, or torches, but that's okay. Now, let's move on into clay, because clay is going to be very important, and it's going to be a little tricky to find sometimes. So, get back over here to our handy-dandy book. Let's go to pottery. So here we have it. Clay is an incredibly useful and balanced material which can be used for pottery. It can prove challenging to locate at first because it's usually hidden in the ground. You're not going to find it the same way you typically do in water. However, you can find some deposits of clay in water. Generally, here, you're going to find it in areas with at least 175 millimeters of annual rainfall, which again, if you want to check that, you press B. You come in here to the little cloud, rainfall. We need 175. We're at 200. Here's 199. And 210. So we should be fine to find clay within these bands here, right? And then it says that clay can be found in patches all over the place, usually marked by the presence of certain plants. So if we click over to the next page, we'll see what these plants are. An Ethereum fern, canna, goldenrod, pampas grass, Peroviscia, and water canna. All indicate the presence of clay nearby. Clay can be found in smaller deposits close to water sources such as rivers, lakes, or ponds. Again, water is pretty huge in this pack. Make sure you find some. And then it gives us a little update here on clay napping, which same thing, have clay balls in your hand, right click in the air, make sure you're not looking at a block, and you'll open the interface. Same concept, you draw out the picture, except it doesn't completely disappear, it sort of imprints it, which is kind of cool. And you can make various structures. So we'll have a small vessel, a jug, molds, and it actually doesn't tell you in here how to create the large vessel, but lucky for me, I stumbled upon it, and so we'll be also creating a large vessel, which is going to act as your early game storage. Took me a little bit to figure that out, but hey, we got there, and now you can too, a lot faster. So we're going to be looking for some of these plants here, basically just around the water side. Let's go ahead and start walking the course of this. I also want to change our home thing there. So how do I open the waypoint settings menu? It's not JEI, it's all the way down here to zeros, minimap, new waypoint, open waypoint screen. So it's U. Go uses, JUI. Oh, right, you can press, really? Press R or U? Interesting. Sorry, drink of water. All right, so let's press U. Cool, 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 cool. And we're not going to be teleporting to these. We want to delete that one. Good. And this is going to be home. Let's do it as gold. Yeah, it's pretty visible. All right, now let's go looking for these plants because, again, we want to find some clay. Clay is going to be one of the only materials that doesn't abide by the laws of gravity and one of the easiest ones to build your home with. If you want to get into building a home, obviously, without having hostile mobs attack you every night, the need for an enclosed base becomes less real, right? These tulips. I'm not finding what I'm needing to be finding here. More tulips. And basically, once you see one, oh, it's a quail. Once you see one of these plants, is this it? Yeah, this was one of them. All right, so let's dig in and see if we can't find some clay here. Aha, there we go. Loam clay grass. And you can actually notice this stuff also if you're just walking. See, it does have a different name, even though it looks the exact same. So if you happen to be looking at the ground constantly, you can sometimes get lucky with it. But as you'll notice, when we mine this, it gives us 2 clay balls. And we can basically just go around and pick this up. In case you're wondering, no, this pack does not have Ultimon, obviously. Well, I say obviously, but maybe it's not obvious, okay? Because I checked myself, so... Now, when it says a small clay deposit, it doesn't mean that it's too terribly small here. You'll notice this is quite a bit of clay, and you will want to get all of it. Trust me when I say you'll probably not have enough clay. Especially since you'll be building with it more than likely. So it looks like our shovel, yep, is kaput. That's fine. We'll get another one built up here. That and that. And give me a shovel. Whoops. Shovel. All right. And the only backpack that I found is from, I believe it's from Immersive Engineering. So there's not really a source of backpacks quite yet in the mod pack. Again, this mod pack's still probably in early development here. So oh, this is a whole lot of clay. I'm very, very happy with the turnout here. Typically, they won't be this large either, but you get the point. When it says small deposit, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find 2 pieces and that'll be it. But this should have us sitting pretty nice for quite some time here. Almost 2.5 stacks there. We're going to need to get on out of here. Just looking for some more markers for clay on the way back here, because why not? Now we're gonna... No, we're not. You move so slow in the water because some of these water plants just really chop you at the legs here. Of course, I guess I could break them, right? Oh, there we go. There's some land. Alright, so we are back home, and we now have clay. So again, if we right-click, we open this up, we can mark out the little small vessel. Now, clay, unlike stone, if we were to exit out of this menu, well, okay, we made something there, but generally, if you don't make anything, then it won't take your clay, because obviously it's clay. You can kind of reform it, whereas stone, once you knock out the pieces, it is gone. So I like that fact. It's a little teeny tiny minuscule detail that's, you know, kind of nice. Now, I believe in order to do a large vessel, that's a mace, not what I needed. A large vessel, what? I was doing something and I discovered the large vessel. Now I have to try to rediscover it. Or, equally so, we could just come over here and type in large vessel. Yeah. Here we have an unfired large vessel. It's just a big old U, Chance, you silly goose. Like that. Now, this large unfired vessel is basically what we're going to be using for our storage area. So we're going to go and get a couple of these, and then we're going to be getting into another aspect of the pack, which, again, is really cool. I think it takes a little long right now, but that's okay. So the next part that we want to dive into is actually going to be these pit kilns. You'll notice when you make things out of pottery, hold on, it says unfired on it, right? Unfired, unfired. You gotta fire this stuff. You gotta go all, you know, early 2000s Donald Trump on them and say you fired. No, but on a more serious note, essentially what you'll need to do, and again, the book explains it, you can fire up to 4 items at a time. Each requires 8 pieces of straw, 8 logs, and then you set it on fire. I'm just going to go through this with y'all because it's really simple. The large vessels, you can only do 1 at a time. So, just keep that in mind. Now, for the small unfired vessel here, I'm actually going to type in, I think unfired would be a better result for us here to sort of see what all we can make. So I'm going to want to make a pickaxe. That is true. Let's see, what else would we want? We could probably do another vessel, but I already know how that's made, so we're not going to worry about it right now. We want a saw blade, that's for sure. So we'll do 2 saw blade, or we'll do a saw blade, a pickaxe, and 2 vessels. That should be good. Here is our second one. And then for the pickaxe, it's like this. Now, you'll notice this doesn't show like a bottom piece here. It just doesn't matter. Okay, you can do this pickaxe thing anywhere. Now, I don't believe you can do it like with the other ones where you can do multiple in one. Let's see. Yeah, because that doesn't work. You have to have space like beneath it. You couldn't technically do something like that. Okay, anyways, saw blade. You gotta punch out the middle here. It's kind of like... that. Okay, so we have our 2 patterns that we want to fire here. Oh, and here. And basically all you'll do is use the same V function, and you'll place these into a little block here. Then what you're going to want to do is get 8 straw and 8 logs, which we don't have. Then you can just right click and it will fill it up. And then in world, it also literally fills it up, which is really cool. Let's knock down this spruce tree, and this should give us enough logs to do what we want to do here. Again, I probably should have been mining for the sticks there, but it'll be okay. 7. Oh, actually, no, we already had over 8 birch logs here. So you just right click, same thing, it'll place the logs in. Once you have 8 and 8, or once the block is sort of flush with the world again, what you'll want to do is take your fire starter, shift, hold right click, hold it, and fire. And now when you look at the fire, you'll see it says time left. 8 minutes, basically. You just leave it. You just leave it for 8 minutes, you come back, and you're good to go. That's literally it. Now, we're going to go ahead and do this over and over again, because we want to fire these large vessels here. So we're going to dig 3 more holes. 1, 2, and a 3. Actually going to put this right there. So now if we go and we press V, and press V, and you'll notice that the vessel sits in the middle of the block, so it, like, quite obviously, very clearly, takes up the whole space. That's really loud. That sound effect there. Not sure what sound actually controls that. So now we're going to need some more straw here, which is fine. Oh, okay. Be careful. Be careful. I told you I was once a pyromaniac. Alright, so we have all these. I don't really want that flour there. That should be enough straw. And now we're just going to need tons and tons of logs. Let's see what we can fill up with what we have here. And I believe we can mix match. Yeah. That one's all full. Oops. And if you right-click with an empty hand, it will pull the logs out. Okay, so that's 2 of them set up. Let's go ahead and get these fired as well, because obviously if they take 8 minutes, this is something that we can have rolling while we're going to find additional wood, right? Let's get this going. And now let's take axe. Go chop some trees. Is this chestnut? Chestnut. I'm really kind of bummed that we haven't found a cherry tree in this world. Of course, we may not be in the right temperature, climate, rainfall, area in order to do this. So we're going out a little bit away from the house to try to find some logs here. That way I'm not just depleting everything right there around the house. Sometimes it's nice to just be able to grab... Is that a bear? Or something? Oh, it's a pumpkin! Hey, we found some pumpkins. Very nice. Very, very nice. Oh, and you know what? I haven't kept an eye on my hunger and everything, and it's showing because we are about to be dehydrated to the point where we can't run. And when you get so dehydrated, kind of like with food, you do get additional modifiers. You get this like slowness effect. Your POV gets changed, or maybe it's just because I wasn't sprinting. But yeah, it's pretty horrific. So make sure that's not happening to you. And I'm trying to find also, there's these little patches of wild plants every once in a while, and there may be some back over here where we just got those pumpkins. But basically it contains seeds. Yeah, so here we go, wild pumpkin. They're kind of hard to tell based off the other fauna. But again, if you just look near where you found the pumpkins, you can typically find wild ones. Or same thing with like melons and that kind of stuff. If you look near where the plant's growing, sometimes you can find wild versions, and that will give you seeds. Seeds we'll get into here in just a second. And also, because I haven't pointed this out, you walk straight through leaves in this mod pack, so don't think that a leaf is going to save you from a mob, because it will not. Alright. We're just doing a little light exploration here. Chop down this tree. But by the time we get back, our stuff should be pretty well cooked up and perhaps even ready for us to showcase. We're in like a very swampy area. I expect there to be a few more crops growing than what there currently are. Ooh, a whole lot of clay there. I don't really want to rock that boat until I'm ready to deal with it, because I think gravity is going to get the better of that situation. Let's knock this down. 6 and 3. I mean, technically that is enough to start our little wood pile. So let's head on back. We'll probably chop a tree or two as well on the way. And again, we're looking for like wild plants. They're a little difficult to find, but if we do see them, they can be oh so very fruitful. And now that it's nighttime, let's actually keep torches in our offhand, right? So if we just place these right there, then we'll be good to go. And I don't think they burn out as we hold them there, so that's nice. This. And get another axe here. And let's get on the road. I'm not going to chop down that last log because it's just going to waste time and efficiency. Very, very lovely. That gave us, we're up to 16. Alright, so yeah, we're just going to head on back home and we'll look for some wild plants in the here's and there's of it. Oh, here we go. Wild rye. That gives us some rye, as well as some rye seeds, which I'm assuming we can turn into some form of bread. Oh, and here's some more. Cool, so when you start finding one type of plant, look around, because you'll probably find more. Wild garlic. Garlic. Okay, cool. Back to the rye. I don't know if I'm actually using my javelin here when I'm breaking these plants, so I better turn that off. Garlic. This is fantastic. Alright, so we should be good on food for quite some time here. And obviously we're not going to want to eat our entire supply. We're going to want to try and grow some of this stuff as well, which I think we got seeds here and garlic seeds. Cool. This stuff stays good for 6 months. 6 Minecraft months. That's quite a long time. It's quite a long time. So let's see how long our fire. 13 seconds. This was like perfect timing for us. So here we go. And when the fire pit goes out, it literally just goes out. And then your items are all down below. So now we have a vessel. You'll notice, however, though, it's still hot. It's yellow hot, and now it's yellow. This will decrease over time, and eventually we'll be able to open these vessels up. But the fact that they stay hot will be very important to us when we get into making our first pickaxe here, which I don't think will happen in this episode simply due to time constraints. However, we can get our first chest done, and I think that will be a huge addition to our little campsite here. Also, I was saying earlier, you can build with clay, so if you simply create clay blocks like such, you can indeed start to build a base or a bridge if we wanted to bridge across this little waterway here. Or like here, say I want to build a bridge across here. Clay will not fall. So this can be really, really useful, obviously, when it comes to getting around the world. Probably should have just done this as a single bridge, but that's okay. Now we don't have to run all the way around this when we want to, you know, cut across. Just go straight across there. Was that really beneficial? I don't know. But we can always come remine the clay, right? So it's important to showcase the elements. And is this? Yeah. So I can't break any of this because this is stone. So it's going to take a pickaxe, which we're pretty close to, and I think in the next episode we'll definitely be able to dive right into pickaxe creation. So here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom. Now we have this large vessel, which is going to serve a multitude of purposes for us. So if we place this down, we can right click, and you'll notice it has 9 inventory slots. Hallelujah. Let's place some items in here. Now, something else that you'll notice, though, is that I can't put logs in here. And that's because they are medium heaviness. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't make sense. Our tools are very heavy. You can't put those in a vessel either. Now, if you're wanting to learn more about why this is and how you can account for this, you're going to want to come to the Getting Started section, right? And then go to Size and Weight. Every item has a size and weight. An item's size and weight is shown in the tooltip, which appears when you hover over it with your mouse. Size determines what storage blocks an item can fit inside of. Tiny items fit in anything. Very small items fit in anything. Small items are the largest items that will fit in a small vessel. So tiny, very small, and small can all go into small vessels. And obviously every other kind of vessel. Normal items are the largest that will fit in large vessels. We just made ourselves a large vessel. Large items are the largest that will fit in chest, right? Large items. And pit kilns can hold 4. I don't know what that means. I guess they can hold 4 large items, maybe, perhaps. That doesn't seem to be the case, though, because they can't hold... Or maybe the large vessel is something. Anyways, very large items are placed alone in pit kilns, so that's going to be your large vessel there. And huge items do not fit in any normal storage device. They also count towards overburdening. And then lastly, you have weight. Most items are very light by default. Blocks are usually medium. Overburdening happens when you carry items that are both huge and very heavy. Carrying just one huge, very heavy item causes you to become exhausted, making your food burn quicker. Carrying 2 or more gives you the overburden status effect, which makes your movement very slow. So, items that count towards overburdening include anvils, sealed barrels, which we'll get into later, and crucibles. None of this stuff we really have to worry about. The main thing is, again, the fact that you can't put logs and you can't put tools into large vessels. You can put your fire starter because it's technically very light. But what we're going to do here is actually put our food, because if we put our food in here, right, is that all of our food? And you'll notice the expiration date, 1 month, 6 months, 1 month, 10 months. If we seal it, then come back over here. Now we have 3 months, a year, 2 months, and a year. So when you seal a large vessel that has food and rations in it, it increases their preservation, right? You'll see it says preserved on the cooked venison down at the bottom there. So a good way to keep your food going and growing for just a little bit longer. You can put other things in there despite, you know, sealing it up. So if I want to just put all my seeds in there, which I don't, I want to plant the seeds. But let's say I wanted to put, you know, these ferns in there and this wood ash. Then we can seal it. And good to go. Now we do have another one here. Oh, and we never started this one. Oh, goodness chance. You big old silly goose. Well, let's get this one rocking and rolling. Whoops. Take the torches out of my hand so we don't start something we don't need to be starting here. And now we have this other large vessel. We can place it down and use this for more storage, right? So now we can come over here and sort of pick up all this garbage that we just threw on the floor. And we can go put this away. And there we go. Now, we don't have to seal this. It's not going to do anything to it if we seal it versus unseal it, except for the fact that we won't be able to take items out once we seal it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this first episode of All the Mods. Gravitas, watching a pig go through the Stone Age. What could be better? If you have enjoyed the video or the live stream, be sure to drop a follow or a subscription on your respective platform there. Of course, leave a like if you're over on YouTube if you did enjoy the video, and comment on what your favorite part of this mod pack is thus far. Of course, share this out with friends, family with friends, and friends of the family. As per the usual, I hope you stay awesome, stay safe, stay crafting, and until next time, peace out.